Working for a startup means you are juggling lots of different things and wearing lots of different hats. One of the things you have to learn when you're a new finance leader, or perhaps you've been a finance leader for a while, is learning how to communicate upwards, especially when you are supporting a startup founder. Hi, my name's Alysha Randall. I'm a fractional CFO and also the founder of Financial Leadership Foundations, and I run courses for new and aspiring CFOs, and I've also written a book on it if you're interested. Financial Leadership Fundamentals: How to Become a CFO in a Startup or Scale Up. And today I wanted to talk about how you can strengthen your relationship with your founder so that you can be the finance leader that they trust and that they keep coming back to. So whether you have been newly promoted or you're stepping into a CFO for the first time, working for a new industry, or you're the number one most senior person in the startup and hoping to move up to that more leadership role, then I'll go through 5 lessons that I've learned that really do shift how you show up and lead in this fast-paced environment. So the first thing is to understand how founders think. So they are, in general, quite visionary. So they think big pictures, they're absorbing 1,000 different things every single day. They often make quite fast decisions, and they're really steering the company to evolving goals, to these strategic goals that often do change. You do sometimes have founders that really get into the detail, and I've certainly worked for founders who are like that. But in general, most of them are big picture. Ideally, you want them to be big picture because as the company scales, they really can't get into all of the details. They need to trust their leadership team. So thinking about that and thinking how they know every part of the business, they are quite big picture, they are quite visionary, and they're thinking about what's next to get to that those strategic goals. If you walk into every conversation and want to talk about reconciliations, accruals, journals, details, you've basically lost them. So they care about what the numbers mean for the future. They want to know, what do the margins tell us? Can we afford to hire another 5 people in the sales team? Are we spending too much on CAC? Those kind of things. So when you're preparing reports or having one-to-ones, you really do need to put your commercial hat on. So you want to translate the numbers that you have at your disposal into insights, and you want to make sure that they fuel strategic decisions. And basically, that's how you earn a seat at the leadership table. The second big one, and I learned this probably after I'd been an FD for a couple of years, and thankfully someone told me this one, and I think it's brilliant, is when you're meeting with or talking to your founder, you want to bring solutions and not problems. So your founder doesn't want another person dumping issues on their desk. They already have a list of fires that they need to put out, sometimes before even breakfast. So if there's a challenge, say for example, cash flow's tight or costs are creeping in, you want to come with options. So show them what the outcomes would be and what you would recommend to the solution of the problem and why. So for example, we're forecasting a shortfall in 6 weeks. We can delay the next hire or renegotiate payment terms or draw down on credit facility. And I'd recommend option 2 based on runway and hiring plans. So that is a real leadership skill. That is value, and that's how you build trust. The founder will love talking to you because whenever there's an issue, you come with a potential solution. If they disagree with you, that's fine. That's not a problem. You're having a conversation, but don't come to them saying, "Oh, we're going to run out of money in 3 months' time." That's just creating headaches, and it's not what they need. Number 3, know when and how to communicate. So you do really need to consider how the founder likes to communicate. I have one founder, being fractional, that doesn't use Slack at all, but she likes email and she likes WhatsApp. So email in general, and then WhatsApp if you need something urgent. I have another founder that doesn't never checks their inbox, just does Slack, and then wants to do one-to-ones. He has regular one-to-ones, and he wants to meet with me every single week, even though we're fractional. So regular check-ins are great, but don't book a daily call. Just tell them everything's fine, or don't sit silent for 3 weeks and then drop a bombshell on them in the board pack. You want to find that right balance, but you also want to find out how they interact and how they like to communicate. So, as I said, some want a quick Slack message, some want a once a week download, some want data sent via email so they can process it in their own time. If you're not sure, just ask them or speak to their EA if they have one, or a co-founder if you want, or someone else in the leadership team. You may have to do a bit of trial and error, but you want to adjust your style to meet their needs. It's a leadership skill, really, not a weakness. Number 4 is to be honest, even when it's hard, especially when things go wrong. So I have personally seen junior finance leads hide a mistake, or they delay sharing bad news until they're backed into the corner. And I can tell you right now, this really just destroys the trust that you have developed over time, and it might take you a while to get back to it. They might start micromanaging if you do that. So if you've made an error or something in the forecast looks off, you want to tell your founder quickly. You don't need to go through every single detail and understand what that is before you speak up, but you do want to have grip on the facts, and then obviously you want to have next steps. So what founders want is transparency. They want to trust you. They want to know that you've got it under control and that you're not afraid to take responsibility and act fast if a mistake has happened. I can tell you right now, in startups and scale-ups, mistakes happen on a weekly basis. This is not unheard of. I've certainly made mistakes in my career, plenty of them. A lot of them are in this book here. So don't feel ashamed. Don't allow imposter syndrome to get the better of you and not take action. If you go to a founder and say, I've just noticed this mistake this morning, I now understand the facts, these are the next steps that we're planning on taking, I just wanted to let you know, that's fine. And then they'll agree with you or disagree with you. They may also ask, how did this mistake happen and what are you going to do in the future to make sure it doesn't happen? You may want to think about that as well. And then finally, number 5 is to become the commercial right hand. You're not just a finance person anymore as a finance leader. You really are more of a commercial leader, a commercial partner. So you are the one that connects the dots between finance, ops, product, marketing, and hiring. So your role isn't just about reporting, it's about helping making fast decisions. It's helping them to see what's around the corner. Sometimes it means pushing back, perhaps more often than not. And it also includes challenging the founder. So if the numbers say something is off or a proposed budget is unrealistic, it's your job to say so, tactfully, of course, but not make sure you're not condescending. But if you let that go through, then it really is, you're not doing your job properly. So the most valuable CFOs I've worked with are the ones who say, here's what I'm seeing. I don't think this is the right call. This is why. Let's talk about it. And then founders will start seeing you as a leader, not just a number cruncher. So just to recap, understand how your founder thinks, bring solutions, not just problems, calibrate your communication style, be honest when things go wrong, and show up as their commercial right hand. So if you're stepping into the new role or you're wanting to move from a financial controller into a CFO, then this mindset shift is really important. And of course, if you want support or tools or structured training, then do check out my FLF course. I've built a course specifically for finance professionals who want to become CFOs within startups or scale-ups. Also, take a look at my book. It's a nice way of introducing you to the FLF framework and supporting you in your role, and gives you a lot of actions that you can implement today. So take a look at that. I'll leave the links for those below. Otherwise, if you are a finance professional within a startup or scale up or want to move into this industry, then please hit subscribe button. I do a video once a week and I talk about things that you can implement within your role today. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next week. Cheers.